It was 11 months. So like this, January 1st of 2018 was the first day. So like right after Christmas break for like in my sophomore year. Like I was homeless from then to November 9th of last year. It was me and my mom and grandma, and that was it right there. I'm Marquise, and I'm overcoming the challenge of being homeless. It was just always long days. And I was always really down, and because I felt like I didn't have no hope, because I felt my life is just over already, and I was only 15 years old, 16 years old. So I don't really know the full story of how it got to that, but all I know was like from one moment I was here in Plymouth, and then the next day I'm in Memphis staying with a cousin, and then that's all I knew really at that time. We ended up getting kicked out of our cousin's house for some reason. I don't know the full story really, because I didn't really know. But then that's when we first really actually officially was on the streets, and then going from hotel to hotel. When I was in Atlanta, Georgia, there was a lot I was kind of exposed to, like with being homeless and stuff. Because I did go to school there for a little bit, but like the school was like not, oh no. That school was bad. Like there was fights. You know, I see people with drugs. I even see teachers fighting students. Like it was just horrible. So I'm like, that's what I didn't want to be in that type of environment. And like, it was overwhelming because I was already far behind, and catching up was like a long shot. So that overwhelmed me. So then that's what ended up making me drop out. But yeah. There's a lot I was exposed to, a lot I could have did when I was down there that I'm glad I didn't, and I'm glad I chose to stay true to myself. But some things I went through down there was like mental illness, obviously, like depression. I'm still kind of suffering from that to this day, because that doesn't just go away. And that was horrible. Yeah, it was really bad. I was like down every day, all day down. I really didn't have happiness, and I was just always like, you know, I'm not really the emotional type. I'm not really the one that like cries a lot, but then I was always crying. Like I wouldn't be crying in front of my mom, because my mom she'd get mad at me, but like I'll be crying by myself sometimes or something like that. Not so much hungry, because like, I would find a way to get food, but yeah, no, but I was tired a lot because it was stressful, and stress is like a silent killer. So one day I was just sitting down and I was just thinking, and I'm like, I'm not trying to put my friend on the spot. I'm not gonna say his name or nothing, but my friend dealt with the same thing like a while ago though. And his family ended up getting out of being homeless and into a house and whatever. And I don't know, I just started thinking about them for a second, and I was like, maybe they would take me in because I know they dealt with the same thing and they would understand. But then I was like doubting myself at first, because like, who would want to take another kid in, obviously, because you got their own problems, so why would they take me in? But I'm like, then me and my grandma and my mom started getting into a argument, because they were both like, emotions was high because, you know, we're homeless, whatever, and they were like crying, and I'm like, I can't take this no more, because it's like draining me, and it's just like, I can't do this no more. I gotta figure out something. So I ended up calling my friend over, like texting him over Snapchat, and then I'm just like, hey, can I talk to you? And then when he got back to me, I was like, hey, yeah, I told him, I gave him the rundown of everything. And then like a day later, his mom called me, and then I had his mom talk to my grandma, and then my mom ended up like, I don't know how she did it, to be honest, but she ended up, when they said that I can stay here with them so I can come to school, my mom, I don't know how my mom did it, and I'm not gonna ask her, but she ended up getting enough money to get a plane ticket for me to come back up here. And like, for me, that's just God working. And I don't know how my mom did that. That's just crazy, but yeah, I'm back here now. Like when I first came back last year, I was 10 credits behind. And now I'm like of like, I don't even know how many. It's like 1 or 2 or something like that. Because I've been working so hard and I've been putting in the effort. There's no other option for me. I'm gonna have to graduate. It can't be any other way. But now it's just like, sometimes I think about it and it's just like, I went through that, it's over now. Sometimes it does get to me because like I miss my mom and stuff like that. But it's just, I just think of like where I want to be and what I want to do. One thing I would say is like, make sure like you're talking to people about it. Like social workers here help a lot. Like my freshman and sophomore year, like I would never talk to nobody because it's like I thought they were here for me. But like when I got back, I ended up talking to my social worker and it was a big help. And even your counselor, big help, they'll help you out. So,
yeah. Why does that help? What's different? What happens?
Once you talk to somebody, it makes you feel better. Like it just makes you feel better, and then like just knowing that they can help you and they can be there for you. That just is a relief. So yeah, definitely talking to somebody.
Hi, my name is Hunter Thomas, and I'm overcoming autism. I like it here.
It's not terrible.
It's not
but
terrible.
It wasn't always like that, right? Like, did you always like it here?
No, not really.
Yeah. So when you first got here, what was it like?
It was kind of hard, I guess. Didn't really,
Things were difficult for Hunter, so much so that he has trouble even talking about it today. Hi, I'm Mr. DeMars. I'm the guy who creates these videos, and I'm gonna fill in some of the gaps on Hunter's story. Think back to 9th grade. So many nerves, right? Yeah, Hunter's nerves were on a whole nother level. He was new to school, new to Wayzata. He didn't know anybody. Everything was completely unfamiliar, and Hunter got completely overwhelmed.
In 9th grade, it was really tough for me because I didn't really know anybody, and it was like a big school. There's a lot of people, and I wasn't really used to that in Prior Lake.
So he doesn't have that sort of mechanism most of us have in our heads where we say to ourselves, all right, I'm uncomfortable, I'm overwhelmed, but I'm gonna be okay. Instead, he panicked. To this day, he's embarrassed about it, but he kept coming to school, and each day things got easier.
Yeah.
Still, he has his moments.
I kind of struggle with noises, and I get distracted easily, I guess. Gotten a lot better with dealing with them, but
Now you hear that noise in the background?
still I don't know.
Hunter's doing everything he can to block it out.
Like this noise right now.
Yeah, I'm really distracted by that.
Who wouldn't be? It's distracting, but with Hunter, that distraction becomes the focus rather than something he can ignore or tune out.
It distracts me because I'm trying to like tell you what I'm feeling, but I'm also like hearing that and I can't explain it, so this kind of overwhelms me, I guess. I don't know.
So he shuts down. Fortunately, though, those moments are fewer and farther between because Hunter's now a senior and Wayzata is his home away from home. You get it. He's more comfortable now. But for the next new student, he has some advice for all of us.
Do you think if somebody just came up to you and just said, hey, welcome to Wayzata, think that would have helped?
Well, if they would just say hi or something and then kind of greet you and then talk with you, everything, but getting to know someone.
It's not the easiest thing for high school students to do.
Yeah, it's not.
But it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Oh, we would say like สวัสดีค่ะ ฉันชื่อธีดา ฉันมาจากประเทศไทย
So that's easy, really, right?
Yeah, that's easy. It's just like, hi, I'm Tida. I'm from Thailand. Yeah, and then I speak Thai. I wanna speak English like really well.
So what's the most difficult thing with English for you?
When you like be in the class, they speaking like the difficult word. So sometimes you feel like confused. Yeah, that's a hard one. Like when we see the people speaking, oh, I want to speak like them. It just feel like uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes I don't know what's going on, like in the class, I even don't know what's going on, what they're talking about. When they say something like, yeah, I put like one pieces like on my hair, like, oh, what they mean. It's just my grandma and my brother in Thailand, but my mom and my dad here.
And how long have your mom and dad been here? 3 years too?
Yeah, same. We coming at the same time.
Why? Why?
Because my uncle, he need the people work in the kitchen, so they bring my mom and my dad work in the kitchen. I work at Thai table. If like American people, like they want to order some Thai food, and then they cannot say that, they just say the number. Yeah. 24 is Pan Mi Lo Min. You can tell me any number and I will tell you like what is that. 1 to 71, I remember. I know them all. Like, when you speak in the language, you kind of feel scary. But if you don't, you can scary, but don't be shy. Yeah, don't be shy to speak, because it's not your language, so you might leave it. Yeah.
And people understand.
Yeah.
Most people.
Most of the people understand. Then if I don't understand, I just ask them. Yeah.
And people understand.
Yeah, they answer. They help me.
People are really good about
Yeah.
that. Really good?
Yeah. That's why I wanna stay here.
Why?
Yeah, cause like the people here is, like it's different thing like Thai people. I don't know. It's a lot of good thing in here about the people. Yeah.
You like Wayzata?
Yeah, even like in the neighborhood, even we don't know, like they walking, they say hi, Like Thailand cannot say hi like this, they will have fight. Because it's kind of weird for the Thai who you don't know me and then you say hi to me, Yeah, but here, that's why it's a lot, the thing is good in here.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
I'm Katie, and I'm overcoming the challenge of having cerebral palsy. A lot of people tend to assume that because my body moves the way that it does, that I don't understand things, or I'm not mentally capable of being at the same level as my peers, which can be really frustrating.
So the brain works
Right.
just fine.
Yep, there's just a part of my brain that when I was born, I didn't breathe right away. So the part of my brain that controls my physical movements was damaged. It doesn't hurt, no. It's just kind of a constant movement that makes me look a little different. A lot of people think that I can't walk because I tend to use a power chair when I'm going long distances because I get tired really easily. But I can walk and be active and get out in the community just like they can. The main thing that I think people should know is that I'm pretty much just like everybody else. Like, I may look a little different, sound a little different, but I still am interested in pretty much the same things and can do pretty much everything that they can do, even if it takes me a little longer. It's tricky for me to take notes, like in class. So the way I study is a bit different than kind of like peers. And some people think that when I'm getting like teachers' notes or things like that, that it's giving me an advantage, but trust me, it's not. Well, I'm headed off to college next year. I'm planning to study pre-law and then go to law school and be like a more official advocate for people with disabilities. I reached out to Principal Gengler about the classroom doors on our classes, like in the building, because some classrooms wouldn't leave their door open during passing time, so kids in wheelchairs like me wouldn't be able to get into class independently. And Principal Gangler even purchased some like door props and things like that to make the building even more accessible, which was really great. I won like the organization is called Miss Amazing, and it's a pageant for girls with all kinds of disabilities. And you're judged on your advocacy work and being kind of like somebody in the community that has raised awareness about disabilities. So I won the state pageant, and then I went to nationals, and there were around 300 girls with probably 40 in my division, and I won nationals as well. So
Does it ever get frustrating?
being disabled, yes, without a doubt. Honestly, I just kind of think about the things that I've overcome and all the people that have told me that like I can't do certain things or I can't accomplish my goals, and think about how I really have accomplished those goals, and how, I mean, when I was born, I was declared brain dead after 3 days being in a coma. So obviously I overcame that challenge. So I just kind of look back and think about like, what have I already done, and why am I letting this one thing get to me?
All right, Mr. Halverson, I overcame the challenge of being homeless throughout high school and also following up with some depression. High school, 9th through junior year, my mom got diagnosed with being bipolar and made a lot of poor decisions, not always the best for our family. And we lost, we'd come home and there was a notice on our door saying we have to move out within the next day. Sometimes it was within a few hours. So we'd move our stuff to either a friend's garage or into whatever we had that we could fit into my mom's vehicle at the time. And my mom would go and live with my aunt in Wisconsin, and she told me I could stay at the high school as long as I had somewhere to stay. So there was times where, every day, I'm sitting in history class, English class, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna stay tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna eat tonight. At the time, it was just always happening, so I didn't feel like anything was wrong with what was happening. And then also some families took a big challenge on with adding another 16, 17-year-old boy to their house for months at a time and taking me in and loving me up like I was their own. Like I said, it was kind of normal for me, but in a way it was also embarrassing. There was times where I didn't want to tell people about what was happening outside of school or outside of sports, but that was my getaway. And I was extremely blessed and got some talents, or blessed with some talents that were, I was able to use those gifts to get away from my nightmare. I think everything was like, I never had time to really sit there and think about what I was actually going through at the time when I was that young. I felt like I was in survival mode. I was worried about the next thing. And to be honest, I was more worried about my grades and the sport I was in at the time than I was worried about where I was sleeping. And it probably was a blessing in disguise. Now that I think about it, is that I was so busy as a student athlete, I didn't have time to think about what I was actually going through. I really fell into a depression when I actually lost that world. When I tore my ACL twice, I wasn't able to play sports. I wasn't able to get away from that nightmare. I was stuck in reality. And that's when I fell into that deep depression, and it kind of helped me find another outlet. It was, a lot of people come up to me and, they say I'm not a very social person. But it was the first time in my life where I had to sit down with people and talk about how I felt. Just release it out. It was one of the best things for me was, I was able to sit with my pastor, I was able to sit with my counselors at the college and just release all my emotions. I was able to just let it all go. I built up so many emotions from, when since being 12 to 21 or 20 when I first tore my ACL, and I just let everything go. And I felt so much, I felt so much relief. I was healthy. I think it also was a blessing in disguise that I got hurt, because I never would have found out, releasing, just talking to someone can change your day, just smiling every day can change. And that's why I leaned on was other people and just having them listen to me. I had we're still close to this day. We talk every day. My 5 closest friends from high school were also battling their own struggles. So that kind of comforted me in a way with those individuals. Like, we're all going through something. It might not have been the exact same struggle, but we were all struggling together. And we knew we could get out of it together if we stuck together, and which we have. And 10 years later, I'd say all 5 of us are pretty successful young men. And yeah, I don't know. It took a while to get used to being able to talk to it. And I just know if I'm able to share my story, it might be able to change one life. That what makes it worth it. Students are saying they're going through the depression and stuff like that. It's something that's very serious and something that we can't look past, because I've been there. It's tough. It's really, you can't really explain how you are, but it's just a dark place. It wasn't something that happened overnight. It wasn't something that just was me. It takes a village. I had coaches that were keeping me on track, checking on me. I had, my best friends' families checking in on me. My grandmother was always on my back. And I just think it was the constant love that I got from everyone, because it wasn't something that people were nagging me to be great. It was their love. Their love for me is what I think shaped me to go down the right path. And I went down a lot of different broken roads, and all those broken roads, I believe, landed on the right one. The biggest thing with all my athletes and even my students, I try to go the extra mile to make the relationship, because I know what's happening in the classroom or what's ever happened on the field or court, that's like 10% of what, I'm actually here for. I'm here to build these relationships. And when you're making these relationships with these young people that, they're gonna go the extra mile for you. We've seen it with the football program. Like, I shared my story with a lot of these young men, and they're going through their own struggles also. And just to be open with them, they'll go that much further for you on the football field or whatever it is. And I tell them, I'm not your football coach, I'm your coach for life.